On this episode of O'Fallon Matters, learn about a new program that honors fallen veterans. Next, see how we're helping the community thrive with Resiliency grants. Then, learn more about the Shape of Community Sculpture Series. All this and more next on O'Fallon Matters. Let's take a look back at a decision by O'Fallon voters in 2020 that has already made a major impact on our quality of life in the city. On June 2nd, 2020, your voice was heard. City of O'Fallon residents voted to approve the implementation of a use tax for out-of-state purchases to increase funding for police services and O'Fallon streets. 2 years later, this simple yes vote has helped make O'Fallon an even better place to live, work, and play. Online purchases are easier than ever, but prior to the use tax, O'Fallon received no taxes from out-of-town purchases, often items purchased online. Normally, these sales tax revenues would go to necessary services like roads or police if items were bought locally. Other cities across the country instituted similar use taxes to help regain these losses. That decision by O'Fallon voters in 2020 is now allowing the city to improve services and streets for our ever-growing population.
As somebody who's deeply engaged with this on a day-by-day basis and a representative for the staff of the city, let me just say from the bottom of our hearts, we are so grateful to the residents that you took the time to investigate this issue and ultimately passed it, because it really drastically increases our ability to serve you in a better capacity. The use tax is going to have a massive impact on the city of O'Fallon, the residents, the quality of life. Everything as far as the services that the city can offer is going to be impacted by this. The funds are primarily split between the engineering department and O'Fallon PD. As far as engineering goes, our capacity for making those repairs, for keeping the city's infrastructure in really good shape, has expanded dramatically as a result of this.
Thanks to the voters, the police department's been able to budget for high-tech, cutting-edge equipment that we might not be able to get through other means, or if we were able to get it, it would come at a cost to the city or the residents. The police department's been able to buy drones, body cameras, canines. We've been able to send officers and civilian staff to high-level, high-tech training where they can get best practices and bring their knowledge back onto the streets. So when a resident of O'Fallon needs to rely on the police department and they know they're going to get a quality police officer who's up to date on integrity, professionalism, and just exemplary service. By being able to have a canine on duty, we can respond to wherever we need to in the city within minutes. And so when seconds count and that child's missing, we can get a canine out there to try and track that juvenile. We can get the drones up to try and do the same thing. By adding a drone not only benefits the patrol division, it benefits the traffic safety unit who can fly drones up and take measurements when they do their reconstructions on crash scenes, just so we can speed up our time on scene. The body cameras were implemented about a year ago. They were to increase officer accountability to the public. As the 7th largest city in the state, I think it's imperative that we lead by example, and by adding the body cameras to our officers, it shows another layer of transparency in our delivery of service to the public.
We get a lot of calls all the time from residents asking about the condition of their particular roadway or roads that they have to use on a daily basis. Having this additional funding allows us to go out and make a lot more repairs than we typically would have. Around 3-4 years ago, we were only doing $500,000 in concrete repairs every year. Contrast that with this year, where we intend to make almost $7 million worth of concrete repairs, and a whole lot of that is solely based on the funds that are generated from use tax. We are now able to dedicate almost $250,000 a year towards fixing paths throughout the city. So all of your concrete sidewalks, all of your asphalt trails, all those things. For the first time, we were able to actually go out and maintain those existing infrastructure. In addition, we've increased the funds that we put towards ADA each year, which is a huge thing throughout our city. We have a ton of curb ramps, a ton of sidewalks that residents who are differently abled, they need to be able to utilize that. And so now we're going through and making targeted repairs to those items on a much larger scale than we have in the past. We're exploring new technologies for our asphalt streets. There's a lot more that you can do with asphalt roads to keep good pavement in good condition. Some things that we haven't necessarily been able to do in the past that now, again, because of these extra funds, we now have that opportunity.
On the horizon, we're looking at a new CAD system for dispatch. It's important for us to get assets where they need to be. The system we have now is over 20 years old, and the tax approved by the voters and approved by the council allows us to go out for bid on that and get a new system in that's current with technology, cutting edge technology, gets people where they need to be in a safe manner. Another aspect in looking to the future is a new mobile command post. It's lagging in technology. With all the body cameras our officers have right now, an example would be at the Heritage and Freedom Festival. We have multiple officers up there, and the data transfer from the cameras they're wearing bogs down the system we have now. So with the upgraded IT capabilities, that data transfer would be more manageable for our police department and allow us to provide better service to the citizens.
This revenue will keep paying dividends to residents for decades to come.
So, you're looking at even more additional roadways. You're looking at us expanding into areas that we hadn't really thought about in terms of, what is beyond sidewalks, what's beyond ADA, what's beyond traditional concrete asphalt work that we typically do. There's a lot of unexplored avenues out there that the engineering department can potentially take on with these funds.
By investing back into the police department through this use tax that was approved by the residents and approved by the City Council of O'Fallon, we're able to pay the citizens back through exemplary police service, cutting-edge technology, and equipment that won't fail, and equipment that will give our officers the confidence to go into anything they face.
So really the sky is the limit, and so these funds and having those available for the city is just going to have a massive impact across all walks of life.
O'Fallon has a strong tradition of honoring veterans in the community. Now, learn about plans to create a path through O'Fallon, memorializing those soldiers killed in action.
The City of O'Fallon is dedicated to supporting families and honoring their loved ones who so bravely gave their lives protecting our freedom. And we want to honor all those men and women who sacrificed their lives to keep us free. Path of Heroes will be a new 7.8-mile route that will honor O'Fallon service members who have been killed in the line of duty.
The City of O'Fallon has always done a phenomenal job of honoring our veterans as a whole, from our beautiful Veterans Walk to our Veterans Office here in City Hall, to just the relationship we have with our Veterans Commission, our VFW, and all the organizations that we work with all the time. One of our council members, Councilman Herwick, really wanted to do something, though, special and unique for those that did make the ultimate sacrifice.
I was trying to figure out a way to honor Lance Corporal Schmitz, who is an O'Fallon resident and gave a lot to our community by, serving our country, and unfortunately lost his life in doing so. Just trying to figure out a way as a community we can honor him in a subtle way. He went to Fort Zumwalt South High. I thought, well, maybe it's a good opportunity for us to honor him on, Bella Creek Road in that area. So I brought the idea to City Administrator Snowden. He took the idea to the staff, and the staff ran with it and came up with even a fuller, much larger program in a way to create a path throughout the city to honor our fallen heroes throughout our history as a city.
Families can apply to have one of their fallen family members recognized on memorial signs posted along the Path of Heroes route.
We went back and looked at the number of people that may have lived in the City of O'Fallon who perished during their service, and we estimate there's probably about 17 to 20 that did. So we wanted to look at an opportunity to honor these men and women with a sign along one of our major roadways with their name and their rank and their branch of service. If somebody has a family member or a friend that they know lived in the City of O'Fallon who did die in service, the best thing they can do is go onto our website and download an application, fill it out, and send it in. Then we work with the family members individually from that point to take it from there.
There'll be, for each honoree, there'll be 2 signs, one on each direction of the road. There'll be, let's say if it's a north and south road, one will be placed on the north for the traffic heading north, and one at the south end for traffic heading south at the beginning of each of those segments.
If you would like more information on O'Fallon's Path of Heroes program, you can go to www.o'fallon.mo.us.
The City of O'Fallon recently awarded Resiliency grants to nonprofit organizations that serve eligible residents in need. Kim Doan has more.
August 18th marked a special day for many nonprofit organizations who were each awarded a generous donation from the City of O'Fallon.
This morning we celebrate your commitment to our O'Fallon neighbors and to present you with a ceremonial check for your agency's grant award. Thank you for your commitment to our community and greatly appreciate all that you do to serve our O'Fallon neighbors.
Today we held what we were calling a signing day event. It was for our nonprofit resiliency grant awardees. So in April of 2022, the City Council decided to allocate up to $385,000 of repurposed general fund dollars in the form of grants to area nonprofits to serve O'Fallon residents in need.
The Nonprofit Resiliency Grant was awarded to 15 nonprofit organizations. Each of these organizations serves the community in a variety of ways.
Of the 15 organizations, a number of them were focusing their funds on mental health services. So from children to individuals with developmental disabilities to veterans and aging residents to families. They were going to be providing mental health services to O'Fallon residents. We had a number of individuals and organizations that'll be providing support in terms of home modifications. We have some agencies that are building awareness around human trafficking, what it looks like, what to expect, and to help encourage the public to help them in identifying that.
Very excited because we are excited about the programs we are going to put in place in the coming year. It is very important because it helps us to educate more people, residents of O'Fallon, about human trafficking, to be able to identify potential victims of trafficking within O'Fallon.
We're very grateful. We recently opened our Crisis Stabilization Center, which is located in Wentzville. We see a fair amount of folks from the O'Fallon area, and this will help better serve those folks when they present to us in crisis.
To be able to receive these funds, to be able to be back in the City of O'Fallon and now provide youth that support of counseling that are struggling with those issues around bullying and cyberbullying and suicide is really a great feeling. We are excited to get here, help the kids, and really help the families.
It's very heartwarming to give back to the community that they're giving back to the O'Fallon residents. They're helping O'Fallon residents, and that's what, to me, that's what we're here for, is to help O'Fallon residents.
Congratulations to all the awardees for this year's Nonprofit Resiliency Grant.
Having healthy trees makes the community a better place to live. Watch this next story and find out how you can spot the signs of disease in ash trees.
Did you know that the emerald ash borer is an insect that found its way into the O'Fallon community in the spring of 2014 and has created an infestation that is fatal to all species of ash trees? Now, follow along with us and find out how to spot the infestation and what you can do to fix the problem.
But we knew that in 2021 we would have a pretty abundant population of this insect that's going to kill ash trees in the community. Now that it's 2022, we see many ash trees like this one behind me that's pretty well at the end of its life trying to fight against the emerald ash borer. There's nothing that can be done to stop this insect. It's going to kill all the ash trees one by one as it goes through the community. You can easily tell that your tree's dying from an emerald ash borer because it's an ash tree. And it really is quite just as simple as that. If you have an ash tree, it's going to end up with the emerald ash borer. So if you have an ash tree in your yard and it's starting to look a little peculiar, maybe a couple dead branches here or there, that's the beginning of the sign. The timing is bad with this emerald ash borer because at the same time we are culminating an effect created by a wasp that creates a a gall called the horned gall on pin oak trees. And the pin oak trees that are over 100 years old surrendering to this horned gall insect problem that's currently in the community also. So we have two factors at play right now, and some of these pin oak trees are just tremendously large, and homeowners and property owners need to realize that it's their responsibility to remove that tree. So we need to be proactive in the removal of these trees. People need to be aware that these trees are in decline and unsalvageable, and they need to get cut down, because we're going to get to a point where so many trees are standing in the community that are dead that if we have a heavy thunder shower or a winter ice storm, all of these are brittle, and the potential for them to all break and fall at the same time is pretty high. So we're encouraging residents to recognize trees that have the emerald ash borer problem, realize that it's their responsibility to take care of the tree and cut it down, and then take action to remove it so we don't have everything happen at once. So now we're faced with what to do, like a call to action, so to speak. Well, number one would be to cut down the trees that are dying. Realize that you have one and take action to remove it. But of course, that's going to open up a spot in your yard where you can probably plant another replacement tree. The city actually decided to go ahead and start replacing trees back in 2015. And at this point, we have 315 trees in the ground to replace the 257 trees we knew we were going to lose.
If you need help, go to www.ofallon.mo.us. Next, click on Services, Residential, and underneath that is the Emerald Ash Borer page. And finally, we ask our residents to please be mindful of this current situation, because healthy trees make O'Fallon a better place to live, work, and play.
The City of O'Fallon believes that residents can gain value through art. In fact, public art can provide a connection between the past, present, and future. Come along and check out all the new Shape of Community sculptures located throughout our parks.
The City of O'Fallon's Shape of Community project is a citywide sculpture exhibition featuring large-scale works of art in prominent areas throughout the city. This exhibition is unique to the entire St. Louis metropolitan area, where artists from all over the United States submit their work, and 10 sculptures are picked to have their art displayed. The 10 selected sculptures from the 2022-2023 series are presently displayed at the City of O'Fallon properties.
We send out a call for artists, which is nationwide. The artists bring in or send us images of their artwork, and then we do a jurying process through the Cultural Arts Commission. And those sculptures are selected, the 10 is selected for the exhibition, and then we make arrangements and schedule to bring those sculptures in and place them on the existing pads that we have. And then we also have the possibility, every 2 years, there is a stipend that's given to where we can purchase some of the sculptures if so decided. Out of the 10 that we accepted this year, we have some real contemporary abstract forms that were done, which really allows you as the viewer to playfully examine the contours and the cross contours of the sculptures. Really fun stuff that you can look at. We do have a really cool piece that's in Alligator Creek that's kind of a dinosaurish kind of looking piece with big fangs. This is the title of it's called Spike. The artist is from Fulton, Missouri, and he was actually a glass blower and transitioned into a metal artist not that long ago. And he really does a lot of work in dinosaur-like creatures. So we're really happy to get that piece. I challenge you to really get yourself involved in what you're looking at. Try to understand the symbolism or the language of what the artist is trying to say. To understand that language, when you're able to let yourself sit and observe that language that they're giving to us, which is visual. And we're so used to a written language that we read every day. That's why the arts become important, because we really allow our imaginations to run wild, and we can jump in and get involved with what's going on with the art. It's super special. The city wanting to run this program, You know, it's fantastic. There's not many cities in Missouri that are able to do this kind of large-scale sculpture exhibition, so we're really lucky. I encourage everyone to go out and see them.
Get on out there to see the wonderful sculptures that are displayed around the city. And who knows, you might just be inspired to create something yourself.
Thanks for joining us today. If you have a good story idea, please let us know. Email us at OFallonTV@ofallon.mo.us. And remember that O'Fallon matters to all of us.